Hey songwriters, welcome back to the studio, and today we're doing another exciting creative session where I take you into the layer, into the dragon layer, and I show you the behind the scenes of creating and producing a project. And the unique part about today's project is it's actually in 6/8 timing, which is not a very common time signature for pop songs. So let's dive in! All right, the headphones are on. It's time to get serious. So we're gonna get into this song, which is a laid back, really intimate type pop song. And I started again with an electric piano. I went to a vintage electric piano. I clicked the classic suitcase Mark IV, whatever that means. And so it sounded like this. Wait for it. Again, it's long chords, it's simple, but it just creates this nice kind of bass line, this nice texture that matches the mood that I was going for in my song. So that was the initial feel I was going for. So next, I wanted a soft but kind of beating bass. And so I chose the deep sub bass, which is actually under the synthesizer menu, you hit bass and go down to the deep sub bass. And it has this very like smooth low end. You've seen me use it before if you follow this channel. But I also hit B on my typing keyboard. I turned on the arpeggiator to give it this little thump action. And with those two together, it sounds like... so good, yeah. I know it's subtle, but I'm liking it already. Then next, I wanted like this pad kind of ambient texture going on behind that. I didn't honestly know exactly what I wanted it to sound like, but I knew where to go looking. So what I did was I went into the synthesizer menu, I went to pad, and I knew somewhere in here is gonna be just kind of this warm, emotive pad that I'm looking for. I tried several that didn't quite work, and eventually I got to Mercury Lake, that's hard to say. And honestly, I don't think I've ever used this specific sound before, but it worked with the context of this song. I just kind of did a basic outline of the chords that the keyboard is playing, and it sounded like this. Yes. So that definitely was a feel, a sound I was going for, even though I didn't know that was the exact sound. I knew it was somewhere in that texture, ambient pad range. Then next, this is a really big piece, especially in the context of a 6/8 song. I chose a session drummer, which you do by creating a new track. You click the drummer here, and I chose Tyrell, and he's under the songwriter menu at the very bottom, because I knew that he is a really good drummer when it comes to 6/8 timing. He just has grooves and beats that work well with this time signature. And even if you don't necessarily like how soft his drum kit is, you can always go down here and choose a different drum kit, even an electronic drum kit for him to play. I just left it on his stock kit because something I detailed in the voice memo that I took for the idea of this song was I want like this kind of soft vintage drum feel. And for this verse right here, I don't even honestly think I changed anything he was doing. The grooves sit just right. And so when we add that in, it sounds like... oh, yes. It's just so soft, so nice. Gosh, it's so good. I love the way his drum kit sounds. I love the way he plays it, just kind of lies like, oh yeah. So then after that, before adding vocals, I wanted to add one more kind of texture, ambient layer, an instrument that wouldn't take over, but it would kind of add to the background. So I added this very ambient piano, which I just did a video on. Go back and check that video out. I'll put the link in the description. So with that sound, I just outlined these really gentle chords on top of what was happening. Whew. I just felt a tear roll right out of my eye. And then lastly, for this verse part, as it was coming into the verse, I wanted this kind of build into it, something soft, something emotive. So I chose the orchestral kit, which you can find by going to orchestral percussion, click on the orchestral kit, and it's actually this percussive kit that would be used in an orchestra setting, but it has all these cool like texture type sounds that I really like. And so I added that in to kind of lead into this verse. Ah, that's so cool. So next we'll dive into vocals. I've unmuted everything. And as I monitor on! I'm telling you, I cannot film a video. It just would not be a creative session unless I left a monitor on every time. So moving along, for the vocal, if I hit B on my typing keyboard, I've got my classic setup, a little bit of compression, a little bit of EQ. I go over to E on my typing keyboard. I've got some pitch correction set in the 80s, limit to key, because I know my key. If you don't know your key, you turn that off. If you follow me, you know that. And so I just have some reverb, a little bit of echo going on down here. And this is a classic setup for me. You've probably seen it in my other videos. This helps me be creative. And I know some of you have said, hey, there's latency when I sing, meaning a slight delay as you sing, because the processing, it's trying to work itself up. It causes a slight delay when you record. So I almost always record with one ear on and one ear off, so I can hear processing in one ear and help be creative, but then in the other ear, I can hear my real-time voice. So that's how I handle that. So I just began singing around ideas, and you'll hear that I have words for some of it, and then I just have blah, blah, blah for the rest because I'm working on the words, but the melody was working. So here's the verse. Just don't give up hope. Just don't be afraid. Now I don't have words, but I had the melody. Yes. I'm really, really liking how this is coming along. Let's move now over into the chorus. There's a couple more elements that I want to show you. So as I transition with my drummer, if you'll notice, if I hit E on my typing keyboard, you can see where his dynamic range is set. Well, as I click over to the chorus, I actually shove that up to loud, and you can hear how the intensity of his drum performance shifts from verse to chorus. It's a little softer in the verse, then a little more dynamic in the chorus, and he hits the snare harder in the chorus. So check this out. So that's one way that I differentiated from my verse to my chorus. And then the last couple things I want to show you, I did use my orchestral kit again to create this swell leading into the chorus. Then beyond that, I actually added an ascending harp to kind of lead in. So then when you add all those in together, it helps create this crescendo into the chorus and really set apart your chorus from your verse. So check this out. That is it for this creative session. If you're interested in learning more from me about GarageBand in particular, then be sure to check out my free mini course when you become an email subscriber. Be sure to check out my GarageBand Masterclasses, both for the computer version and for the iPad iPhone version. And of course, if you have a question or if you have a comment about something awesome you learned, leave it in the comments below and I will catch you in another video.